Through my time on the internet, I have noticed a strange trend. People really love hating on child characters, sometimes for the wildest reasons. Take Caillou for example. A lot of people can't stand him because he acts like, well...
Silly!
Shut up!
A bratty little kid, and honestly, I get it. The show itself isn't exactly great, and the fact that Caillou's parents just kind of let him get away with everything doesn't help. Trust me, I don't like Caillou either, but his parents are even worse. If anything, I actually feel bad for Rosie, though even she has her bratty moments.
Mommy, look what Rosie did!
But compared to Caillou, that's pretty rare. And then there's Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls. I have seen people calling her selfish, or even blame her for Weirmageddon. But let's not forget, she was literally tricked by Bill Cipher, who was disguised as Blendin Blendin. That's not really her fault. But here's the thing, it's become kind of popular to pick apart these kid characters and act like they're supposed to be perfect angels. There's whole videos dedicated to ranting about how awful DW from Arthur is, when in reality she's just acting like a bratty little sister, because newsflash, not all kids are well behaved, and that includes fictional ones. And don't get me even started on the endless Daniel Tiger slander videos floating around social media. Now, I could spend all day going on about the way people target these characters, but instead, I want to shift gears and talk about a different child, Rose. She was introduced in The Last Guest to The Prodigy, and if you're not familiar with The Last Guest, it's a Roblox movie series created by Oblivious HD. That's all I'll say here, because I already explained what the series is about in previous videos. Now, I can already hear some people smashing away at the keyboards like, wait a damn second, didn't you make a video when you trashed Shez? You know, the 15-year-old boy for the exact same series Rose came from? And yeah, guilty as charged, but here's the thing, that video is old. Outdated and honestly, cringe as hell. Like, I look back at it now and feel secondhand embarrassment for myself. Do I still dislike Shez? Oh, absolutely. The kid's voice alone makes me want to mute the entire series.
You killed my mother. And you killed my best friend. Now you're going to die. Shut the f*** up.
And the way he's written doesn't help either. But will I go so far as to wish death on him? Hell no, that's some next level internet psychopathy. Meanwhile, Rose, poor Rose, gets people literally wishing for her to die. And I'm not exaggerating, I once made a TikTok featuring her and some absolute gremlin of a human being decided to comment,
I just rewatched it, Loki. I wanted guest 555, Rose, to die. P.C.S. She's a traitor to guest 1337 inches.
What? Bro, she's 15 years old, fictional girl in a Roblox movie, not your evil stepmom. Calm down, touch some grass and maybe drink some water while you're at it. Anyways, let's talk turkey. First of all, who the hell is Rose? So Rose is a 15-year-old girl, I guess, just like The Last Guest himself. Unfortunately for her, life immediately said nah fam, because she and her mother was captured by the Bacon Empire and tossed into a prison camp. As for her dad, yeah, I'll get to him later, don't worry. While stuck in the camp, Rose ends up befriending Shez, the son of the Bacon General, and Sarah, who is the daughter of the Bacon Doctor.
You are not welcome here.
I suggest you pay me a little more respect, now that I am the leader of the Bacon people.
This
So basically, it's giving the boy in the striped pajamas vibe. Except, yeah, no, without the whole tragic both kids die at the end part. But don't get too comfy because this story still shows the gut punch. In The Last Guest, Sarah ends up being killed. She gets shot by the Baker Colonel during a rescue attempt. See, Shez and Sarah had stuck out at night to try and free Rose and the other guests, after Rose told them she'd been picked for the guest games the next day. And just like that, Sarah's gone. And if you're wondering, wait, how the hell did the Colonel even find out about Rose and Sarah's rescue plan? And later in The Last Guest 3, how do you know about Guest and Shez trying to free the prisoners?
I think you might be surprised.
It was Rose. Yep, Rose was the Colonel's.
Eyes and ears.
She's the one who ratted out Shez, Sarah, and even Velasquez himself. Absolute betrayal energy right there. But before you start typing in the comments like, wow, what a snake, cancel Rose forever, hold up. Because in The Velasquez 4, it's revealed she didn't actually have much of the choices. Trust me, we'll get to that in just a bit. Alright, now I want to get into some of the stuff Rose haters have said about her, and basically defend the out of this character. And just to be crystal clear here, I'm not saying you can't dislike Rose. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If you think she's annoying, fine. If you don't fight with her, fine. But wishing death on a 15-year-old kid, or hating her for things that weren't even really her fault, that's just wild. One of the biggest criticisms I always see is, I hate Rose because she betrayed Jess and got Sarah killed. And look, I get where that frustration comes from, but the haters always leave out the context. Remember how I mentioned that in The Velasquez 4 it's revealed Rose didn't have a choice? Yeah, let's drag the Bacon Colonel back into the conversation. So here's what went down. After Rose became friends with Shez and Sarah, the Colonel confronts her. Now the guy already had inside info from one of his Bacon elite guards who'd been spying on Shez during training. And when he talks to Rose, it's not like she just happily flips sides. No, he straight up blackmail her.
But if you decide to disobey me, I will make sure your mother has a very slow and painful death.
Yeah, that's... And here's the kicker. Rose was actually willing to let herself be killed instead of betraying her friends.
They're my friends. I won't tell you anything. You can kill me. I don't care.
But once the Colonel makes it clear he kills her mum instead, she's trapped. That's not a choice, that's psychological torture. Oh, and that's not even the whole story. In The Velasquez 3, during one of Rose's flashbacks, we actually get to see her family, her mum and her dad. And since her dad wears the same outfit as Mr. K from the Bacon Hair, I'm just gonna go ahead and call him Mr. She. And just like Mr. K... And this is exactly why I said Rose was trapped. No matter what she did, she was screwed. If she didn't betray her friends, the Colonel would have tortured and killed her only parental figure, her mum. Because remember, Rose's dad had already been shot dead by the Colonel and when he tried to protect his family back at the farm. So, refusing to obey would have left Rose completely orphaned. On the other hand, if she did betray her friends, which is the path she ended up taking, then yeah, something terrible was going to happen to them instead. Basically, it was a classic damn if you do, damn if you don't scenario. No winning move, just pure psychological hell. And here's the kicker. Rose had zero clue the Colonel was going to straight up shoot Sarah.
I didn't know the Colonel was going to kill Sarah. I'll never forgive myself.
That wasn't part of her choice. That was entirely on him. There's also a scene in TLC 3 that really makes me think Rose was about to come clean to Shez and guess about her situation.
Me and my mom were brought here. Jess, I need to tell you something.
Listen to me, Rose. We're going to get you all out of here.
Like, she was right there, ready to spill everything, but she gets interrupted. To me, that shows she didn't actually want to betray her friends the second time, but in her head she's still carrying the weight of the Colonel's threat, and that fear keeps her locked in. Alright, so here's another so-called criticism people throw at Rose. Rose is selfish. She should have just let her mother die. Yeah, no, that's not just a bad take, that's a awful take. Rose isn't selfish. If anything, she's the opposite. Remember, she was ready to let herself die rather than betray her friends.
They're my friends. I won't tell you anything. You can kill me. I don't care.
Right up until the Colonel twisted the knife and threatened to torture and murder her mum in the slowest, most brutal way possible. That's not a choice. That's a trap. And let's not forget The Velasquez 4. Rose literally shoved in front of the bullet for guests. The Colonel fires, she takes her straight to the chest, and by some miracle, she survives. Later, she wakes up in the hospital, where Chess tells her the war is finally over. That's not the action of someone quote-unquote selfish. On top of that, before her dad was killed, she made a promise to him. Take care of her mum.
I love you, Rose. Look after your mum for me.
That's huge. So of course she's going to do everything she can to keep her alive. Especially when the Colonel made her mum the target. So yeah, did she betray Chess twice? Yeah. Was Sarah's death part of the fallout? Sadly, yeah, but selfish? Nah. If anything, Rose is selfless to a fault, constantly putting her own life on the line just to protect the people she loves.
Mom, I'm sorry.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
But yeah, those are my thoughts on Rose and the people who hate her. Look, it's perfectly fine to dislike a character. Not every character is meant to be universally loved. And not every fan is going to fight with Rose. But when that dislike escalates into this 15-year-old girl deserves to die, that's not criticism. That's just straight up unhinged. And honestly, it points to a bigger issue with fandom culture. People love neat little boxes. Hero, villain, comic relief, plot device. But characters like Rose doesn't fit neatly into those categories. She's flawed. She makes mistakes. Yes, her betrayal ties into Sarah's death, but she was also trapped, manipulated, and forced into impossible choices. That's not selfishness. That's tragedy. That's humanity. When fans ignore the context, it kind of proves how badly fandoms crave simple good versus evil narratives, but like a good storytelling is never that clean. Rose lives in that messy in-between space, and that's why I find her compelling. She's not easy to root for, but she adds depth to the story in a way quote-unquote perfect characters can't. And let's be real, some of the hate just comes from shipping drama. I've seen people say Rose ruined their ship because Sarah died, which, sorry, is a pretty weak excuse. Personally, I'm actually more of a Rose and Sarah shipper myself than anything involving Chess. Yeah, I said it.
Come out and fight me, baby!
So bottom line, hate her if you want, that's your call, but stop acting like she's some mustache-twirling cartoon villain. She's a flawed, traumatized kid caught in a war. On top of that, she's literally dealing with racism from the Bacon Empire and the Bacon Hands. And with that, we reach the end of the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you like Rose or do you hate her? If so, why? If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe even support me on Ko-Fi. It really helps out the channel. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, friends.
100% pure fish.